Hello and welcome to the Ravensburger Games YouTube channel. My name is Sam and today we are going to be talking about my 5 strategy tips on how to play any Horrified board game that you have a little bit better, especially for those early games when you're trying to figure things out. These 5 tips will help improve your skill those first couple games, and you can keep these strategies throughout the entirety of the time you are playing Horrified. So my first tip is focus on one monster at a time. The reason why this can matter, and it isn't always applicable, but for the most part is the best strategy, is because when you defeat a monster and complete their goal, they are going to be removing their, monster figure from the board. You're also going to be removing their mat from the game. And that means that there's going to be less activations. The less you have to worry about, the better. If every player is kind of simultaneously working on multiple monsters, what you might run into is that none of the monsters are actually going to be defeated in an earlier time, which means that they will all always be activating pretty consistently. So, especially when you're starting out, try and, as a group, focus on a single monster and figure out how to get them removed as quickly as possible. The next tip that I have is that items can actually be more important than raising the terror level. And so, as you might know, one of the ways to lose the game is that the terror level goes all the way up. And when that happens, everybody loses. Now, when a player is defeated, the terror level is going to go up. And when they are taking hits, it is actually an option in order to use your items and discard those to deflect that damage. And so sometimes it is actually better to just keep the items that you currently have and remove yourself from the board going back to that starting location. Sometimes you might be able to use this strategically to get to that starting location because you're put in a better position. But most often than not, it's actually to keep those items in front of you because those items were really important for defeating a monster. And sometimes just going up the terror level 1 space isn't actually that bad compared to losing these items that matter so much more. So always gauge as a group, is it actually worth it for me to deflect this damage right now? Or is it going to be better that I remove myself from the board and keep these items to defeat a monster later? And speaking of items, because items are obviously really important in this game, my next tip is to look at the monsters and look at what items they require for that step of their advancement or just what stage you are on trying to defeat the monster. And the reason why this matters is because let's say you are going to be deflecting hits and a monster is attacking you. Well, you never want to get rid of the color that is needed or the value that is needed. And so having an awareness of what each monster requires really matters when you're discarding those in order to deflect the damage. This right here will help you so much in planning out defeating these monsters quickly. Now, if you're playing with multiple players, it is almost always better to spread out amongst the different spaces. And the reason for this is that items are going to be randomly populated around the board. And you never want all of you to be on one side and the item that you desperately need to be on the opposite side of the board. So it's usually a really good idea to keep your distance away from the other players. That way, one of you can get the item that you need no matter where it pops up. You just have a better chance of being around more items, and giving everybody a good stock of items is a really important strategy to this game. So what are you doing sticking together? You got to spread out and increase your chances of getting those items. And my last tip for the day is one that I don't think enough people really think about, and that is you can move any number of those villagers or legends or citizens around the board when you're in the space with them. And so one thing that I want you to do is you need to go to those legends, go to those citizens, go to those villagers, and move with them. And honestly, this matters because you don't even need to bring them to their location to get a perk card. The real thing here is that you're actually protecting them from being defeated and raising that terror level because now you're there and able to defend and discard items. So always go to those spaces, but the intent is not always to bring them and get a perk card. That's nice if it's helpful, but if it's going to take you away from the goal of defeating the monster sooner by going out of your way to get to a location, then it is much wiser to just be in the space with that character in order to protect them from attacks and just move them with you at no extra cost to your movement. So that is my 5 best strategy tips that will work with any of the Horrified games. I really hope that today's video helped you out, and hopefully you can win your next couple Horrified games. And if you have any strategies that I did not include here, definitely drop them down below. I would love to hear what ideas you have down there. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and press the bell notification to be notified when my next video releases. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.